Boy, did I pick the wrong movie to go to unwind. So I am beyond exhausted right now. I have a show opening next week, and as such, I'm in that pre-Tech Week stress, which is almost worse than Tech Week stress. I wasn't even sure I was going to come out to a movie tonight. I was so tired, but I don't know. I guess just force of habit. Kind of forced myself to do it, and this one looked interesting, and I'll tell you, I never worry about falling asleep at the wheel. I'm always very good at that, but I was tired, man. Sitting in the theater waiting for the movie to start, I nearly dozed off like 3 times, and I was like, oh, this was a bad idea. And then this movie started, and I was awake then, boy. I can tell you that. So I don't know. But that's weird how much it's tilting there. Anyway, I don't know if anybody here is more familiar with this story than I was, because honestly, and I'm very ashamed of my ignorance here. I don't remember this, and it happened, about 10 years ago. This should be fresh in minds and whatnot. But this movie is based on a true event in 2008, when a group of like 10 terrorists just went ape shit all through India, and a bunch of them held up at the Taj. I'm not sure what I want to say the Taj Mahal, but that's not it. But what they kept calling it was the Taj. And we're just killing guests, and a bunch of guests were able to kind of hide out and finally escape. And so this movie is kind of a retelling of the people trapped inside, and the hotel staff that stick it out to try to everything seems weird here, to try to get them out. And so that's basically the story. And I gotta tell you, man, it's intense. It is an intense film. And it's weird. It's jarring, because you feel like you've been through it with them. And I can't say that about many movies where you really do feel like you are there. It is scary how authentic the experience felt. And I think part of that is, we're not so much brainwashed, but we're conditioned to a certain type of person trapped in a building or something with bad guys. We're conditioned to the diehards and the James Bonds and that kind of thing, or the Under Sieges, where somebody in the hotel is going to turn out to be a Navy SEAL, and they're gonna take it and give it to those fuckers and all that. And I'm here to tell you, folks, it really does. It's a sobering experience to watch this movie and just realize what a situation like that is like in real life. It is a sobering experience that you realize there's no John McClane gonna come with a quip and a wink to save the day. These are just regular people, and this is a bad analogy because it's but it reminds me a lot of kind of the old Irwin Allen disaster films, like The Towering Inferno and The Poseidon Adventure. We're introduced to this large group of characters, some by name, some just you recognize them, and not all of them are going to make it out. And it's unlike an Irwin Allen film, because obviously those are big and glitzy and spectacle, and part of the fun is going, oh, who's going to die, who's kind of like a horror movie. And this one, you're just like, oh fuck, man. It really does. Like I say, it puts you in the situation, and it's uncomfortable. but and I say this as a compliment to the movie of how uncomfortable it made me by going, holy shit, I feel like I've lived through it. Yeah, it's just really fucking intense. Trying to think of what exactly to say about this movie other than just like I say, the visceral, the just right there in your fucking face kind of thing of it. They intercut it with actual news footage, which a lot of films do, but this one, it does it really well and really effectively. We have a couple of characters that we follow, but the one we're kind of mostly following, there's two. There's one of the waiters or one of the staff at the hotel, who's played by Dev Patel of Slumdog Millionaire fame, of The Last Airbender infamy of playing Prince Zuko, and last seen on this show playing the guy in The Wedding Guest, that terrible movie I watched. So I gotta say, this is the first movie I've ever seen him in that I actually thought he was really good. Actually, he wasn't bad as Prince Zuko, he just wasn't Prince Zuko. But anyway, so he's kind of our main audience POV character. Just like you say, that average guy who's just going to work to, try to earn money to feed his family and all that, who's just trapped in this situation. He's a good man. He's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to help people. So yeah, he's the character you're rooting to get through it. You want all of them to get through it, but he's kind of our main guy. The other main characters are an American who's married to a Muslim girl. The American's played by Armie Hammer. I don't know who's playing his wife. They have a baby, and they leave the baby with the nanny, and they get separated, and it's whole thing of them trying to get to each other and whatnot. I didn't find that story, as interesting or as compelling, I guess. They had this weird character in there, and I don't know if this was a real person. So if it is, then I'm sorry, sir. But they had Jason Isaacs, who is just a phenomenal actor. I love Jason Isaacs. The only thing I hate about Jason Isaacs is how much he fucking looks like Timothy Dalton. And so every time I see him, I think it's Timothy Dalton. So they have him playing a guy, a Russian, who, kind of seems to be a jerk. But he's really not a jerk. He's really trying to help the young mother get back to her, her child and all that. And they reveal that he's a former Russian special forces guy. And when they did that, I was like, okay, 'cause my first question is this an actual person? Was this someone who was actually in the building, or is this a fictionalized character they put in there? And if it's a fictionalized character, then I have to ask the question, why did they include that very bizarre and yet very specific detail? Because for a second there, I thought the film was going to go all James Bond or something on us. And it didn't. I won't spoil things, but I'll say it didn't do that. But that seemed like a very odd and specific detail to put in there. So I can only assume that by that logic, that it was based on an actual person, and that's why they included that detail. Anyway, God, okay. One of the only complaints I really have about this movie is, God, I have never wanted to smack a child so much in all of my life. I teach high school, for God's sakes. Oh man! So because part of it is the nanny running with the baby all through, and of course the baby's gonna make noise because it can't control itself, and that could alert the terrorists at any minute. And God, that kid just screamed the entire fucking time it's on screen. And I know that's what they were supposed to do, and it was supposed to be shrill and annoying, but fucking A, man. I was just like, shut that kid up. I wasn't rooting for it to die. I just wanted to shut up. It was annoying the hell out of me. That's really the only thing I can find to really nitpick about this movie, honestly. It's not that it's perfect. I don't know if I'd watch it again, mainly because I don't think I could stand the trauma. But it's just like, it is exactly the best example of what it's set out to do. It's incredibly tight. And like, the director does such a good job. Like, every turn, every time around a corner, you are with the characters. You are there, and you are, your heart is, going like this. And you're like, and every noise, everything, you're like, shut up, shut up, shut up. They're right there. Again, like you're there with them. It's again, unnerving how, how any get. I guess another thing I had a hard time with, and this is a personal thing, so pardon me for a minute. This is going to sound terrible, so please understand where this is coming from. They did the smart thing and didn't try to focus too much on the terrorists. They were there, and they all had names and everything, mainly so you could tell them apart, I think. But they didn't take a lot of time to give them personalities and all that, which I'm fine with, because I think that's the way a thing like that should be. I don't think this is a Torah situation where I need to see both sides. I think it kept them as kind of the nameless, faceless other, the threat, the thing that's out there. But then, towards the end, one of them gets shot in the leg, and he calls home, and he's, crying for his father and all this. And I get what the film was going for, to kind of show that these were just, boys, So, and whether they were trying, I think, to put forth the message that the reason they were kind of doing this is because the brother bull who was ever, this kind of nameless guy who was commanding them and all that, promised they were going to send money to this guy's family, and I guess didn't. So I guess it was this moment of, maybe why he was doing this was a little bit to help his family, and to show that he was really scared and all that. And on the one hand, from a strictly filmmaking point of view and a story point of view, I understand that, because it really intensifies the whole concept. Again, using Torah as a example of these being just people doing horrible things to other people. These aren't necessarily demons from hell. These are just kids who are misguided and stupid, and all that. So in a way, I get why the movie went there. So having said that, having come to that, I also have to say this: fuck those guys. Fuck every one of them. I don't give a shit if he was crying for his father. I don't give a shit about them. They are pig fuckers. All right? Anybody goes and does that to people, again, I could almost, just fuck them. Fuck them to hell. And I hope when they get to hell, pigs are fucking them. I have no sympathy. I've never had sympathy for people like that. I have no sympathy for people like that. The minute you start doing the shit they did, you are not human anymore. So I don't give a shit what his reason was. I don't give a shit, showing me he's human. Fuck him. Fuck all of them. And I hope to God they're roasting in hell. So I guess in that instance, the movie did exactly what it was supposed to do. It got me emotionally involved, because I'm just sitting there watching it going, you know what? Fuck that guy. And I guess, again, that is a problem. No, it's not a problem with the movie, because the movie, again, realism, extreme realism, is that we don't get a real cathartic moment of the bad guys getting theirs or anything. You know, and again, that's not what it's about. But again, we're kind of conditioned to that we want to see. We get kind of a payoff, but on the other hand, it's like not. So I don't know. I guess it's one of those movies that afterwards, I guess just the surviving of the situation is the catharsis, is the thing you need to kind of put a bow on it. But at the same time, looks like aliens are coming to get me. So. At the same time, yeah, it does leave you a little anticlimactic. Again, just because we're used to these films going a certain way. So the fact that it doesn't go a certain way isn't bad because it's realism. But, yeah, again, I do leave feeling a little out of it. So, yeah, like I said, it's a good movie. I'm glad I saw it. I don't know if I have the desire to see it again, and like I said, boy, did I pick the wrong fucking movie to go to see to try to relax going into Tech Week. So, final grade for this one. That's a tough one. It is a tough one to grade. It's in the higher echelon there, the upper echelon. My gut is going with a B+. A B+. And I'm not sure why I'm not giving it an A. Because it was engaging, and I was there, and I was, maybe it's because of, how uncomfortable it was that I was engaged and I was there. I don't know, because I feel traumatized now. Like, I lived through it. I know that it's incredibly callous to say for the people who did live through it, but it does make you feel like you were fucking, on the ground there. So yeah, I don't know why I'm not giving it an A, because I can't think of anything wrong with it, but there's just something preventing me from going that full A. But it is a good movie, and if you are in that type of mindset, if you like this type of thing, first of all, seek help. No, just kidding. But I think it is worth a watch. But do not expect happy endings. Do not expect John McClane or James Bond to show up and save the day. Expect to come out of it feeling like you might have some PTSD. Just put it out there. So yeah, good movie, but damn, am I tense now. Hoping to get to one more this weekend if I can work out the schedule and if I'm feeling up to it, because I am just incredibly tired. Next week is going to be a different story. Not sure. I have a show opening next week. I don't know when I'm going to have time. So next week might be a week without a drive home review. I know you're all just weeping because you wait by the computer every day waiting for that notification ding to go off that there's a new drive home review, but there might not be. Actually, while I'm on that, just real quick, I make a lot of jokes about, the low views I get and things like that. But in all honesty, I do have a core group that I get an even number of views each time, and I do want to say thank you to those people, whether you're friends of mine or you're folks who subscribe to the YouTube channel or whatever. Yeah, I'm not up there. I don't have only a couple of my videos have gotten like 100 views. Like I say, Spinning Man was up there in the 700s for some reason. But it really does mean a lot to see people watching these and enjoying them, and even if you're not, it does mean something to me that people watch. So if you are a viewer, if you're a regular viewer, thank you. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you continue to enjoy these, because I sure enjoy doing them. So I just felt like I need to say that, because I do make a lot of jokes about, I don't get any views. I do get views, and it's kind of one of those things. I'd rather be 5 people's favorite thing than 500 people's 5th favorite thing, kind of deal. So thank you for the viewers. I hope to squeeze one in this weekend and another one next weekend, but we'll see what happens. So until next time, drive safe, and I will see you at the movies.